If you've been wanting to make the switch from Premiere Pro to DaVinci Resolve, then this is a video for you. As a freelance videographer and also editor, I work together with several agencies. The industry standard as of today is Premiere Pro to edit your footage. But as I was talking to one of my colleagues, he said basically the same as me. Yeah, I use Premiere Pro. I've been wanting to change to DaVinci Resolve. And I was saying the same thing over and over again until about 4 months ago, since I decided to open up DaVinci Resolve and start learning the program. And now 4 months later, I wanted to make a video on my experience with DaVinci Resolve and how it was coming from a Adobe package. I've been working with Premiere Pro since the start of my career, which is almost 4 years now. And I have to be honest, it was a bit daunting because I put so much time and effort into learning the program. Also, I work a lot with After Effects, so it was a bit of a hassle to work around with it. I want to show you how easy it was to make the switch and actually finishing projects for clients on the new software. Then I'm going to share you some pros and cons about the software and give you the verdict, what I really think of it. I'm using DaVinci Resolve 18 and I've downloaded it on DaVinci's website and it was absolutely free. And right here we get a warm welcome in DaVinci Resolve. And right off the bat, I have to say that everything is fixed, not like in Premiere where everything is customizable. And that really grinds my gears because if you have to work with different editors, everyone has a different workflow and that can get really frustrating. On the bottom of the screen, we have all of the tabs. The left one is the media pool. It speaks for itself. You can import your footage here. Then let's go over to the cut page. And in here, I will drag all of my footage. And on the cut page, you can basically scroll through all of your footage that you have and cut away what's not necessary for the project. First, I'd like to say that you want to change your keyboard customization settings. If you come from Premiere, then it's really easy because they have a preset that's called Adobe Premiere Pro, and that basically gives you the opportunity to work with all of the keyboard shortcuts that Premiere has. Now I have made my own, which is called Gert-Jan, of course, which is my name. And if you want to do this as well, for example, if you want to change the shortcut of the blade tool, you just type in blade. Right here it's B, that's my preferred shortcut. But if you want to change this to C, for example, then you press the X button, type in C, and then that's it. So we're going to change it back to B and then save. In the edit page, you can already see that it looks a little bit like Premiere Pro, but everything is in a different place. For example, the effect controls are at the top right, whereas in Premiere Pro it was at the left. So if you want to introduce an effect to a video, we simply press the effect button right here, and then the toolbox with all of your effects pops up. So in here we have all of our corny video transitions that nobody should use. Who does that? Oh my god. Also your audio transitions, which are a little bit more functional. This is really interesting because in here we have our generators and our solid colors. So for example, if you wanted a simple text on background, then you go to Effects, Generators, Solid Color, drag in the solid color, and on the right hand right here you can change your solid color, for example, to white. And next you want to click Titles. But for now, we're going to type in a basic title, Hi There. Change the color to black. Basically, that's how you use a solid color with text. Next, some basics are, for example, using Option and Scroll, which is to zoom in and out on your timeline. And then if you use Shift and Scroll, then it grows bigger vertically. And for the rest, it's simple. If you know how to edit in Premiere Pro, then this should be really easy for you. Just select everything that you want. And if you have a white space, for example, right here, then you just click it, press backspace, and then it's gone. The next step is your fusion. And this is basically the After Effects of DaVinci Resolve. I don't know anything about this yet. I know a little bit how to use After Effects, but this is too much for me. So for this video, we're just going to skip it. Next up, we have the color page, which is the holy grail of the program. In here, you can change so much and bring your footage to the next level. I myself have been trying out a few tutorials and I've dabbled a little bit with changing a few looks. How it works is basically with different nodes, that's what they call them. And to introduce a new node, you simply press Option plus S and then you get a new node. And every node has a specific task. For example, the first one I will call exposure, the second one is my LUT, third one is contrast, then we have white balance, and then we have saturation. So for example, the second node is for my LUT, first one is for exposure, so we'll drop the shadows a little bit, drop the highlights, then we'll introduce a little bit of contrast, like this, and then change my white balance like so, and then introduce some saturation like this. And if you like what you've made, then you'll just grab a still and you can use this one for all of your other clips. The cool thing is about nodes is that you can change one thing. For example, if you think the exposure is off, you can change that really quickly without affecting the saturation or white balance or something like that. And that is such a big step forward when you compare this to Premiere Pro. Then we'll go over to the next step, which is called Fairlight. And Fairlight is for all of your audio. If I wanted to enhance the audio, I'll just introduce a vocal channel right here. And I have a preset right here that's called Shotgun Mic, which is the mic I'm using right here. Like so. And in here I can change the volume and I can add an EQ, for example. For example, the male laugh finisher. And when you're done with everything, then it's time for the deliver page, which is super straightforward. You just enter the file name, test, then enter your location. I will export this to my desktop and leave everything as is, add to the render queue and hit render. Now we'll go over to some extras that I really like about this program. And number one is the stabilization tool. I like to film a lot handheld. It's easier than having to set up a gimbal, and sometimes your footage is a little bit too shaky. So in here, we go over to inspector, then hit stabilization, hit the stabilize button, and that's a little too much. Just use this one. Yeah, that's way better. Sometimes you have to be careful when you want to use the stabilization tool, because sometimes you get a little wobble effect, like so, as we see here, and that's just too much. Right now I paid $0 for DaVinci Resolve, since I don't need the studio version yet. This is why I would recommend the software for everyone who's just starting out his video editing career. For Premiere, that's a whole different story. I've paid 60 euros per month for 4 years. It comes to 60 euros per month times 12 is 720 euros. Then I've been using it for the past 4 years, so that's a total of 2,880 euros. Which is a lot. To finish this video off, I want to say that I'm starting to fall in love with editing again, thanks to DaVinci Resolve. Premiere's interface and functionality hasn't really changed the past 5 years, and it just continues to get bloated and slower with every new release they've got. I always wondered why they haven't really integrated After Effects and Audition into the same program. It's evident that Blackmagic has put a lot of thought into Resolve, and I've just discovered the tip of the iceberg. There's so much to learn, and especially for color grading, for me it's a whole new learning curve, and that's really exciting for me. I love learning new stuff. Right now I'm using DaVinci Resolve for every client project that I do, but I still need After Effects for all the animation stuff that I do. I haven't got the time yet to learn the tricks into Fusion, but yeah, who knows? It just takes some time. The next thing to do, of course, is get rid of Lightroom and get Capture One, and then find the substitute for Photoshop. If you have a suggestion, please leave it in the comments. Hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, then it would be really cool if you'd subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys, and we'll see each other in the next video. Bye bye.